It's the 2023 FCIAC Boys Lacrosse Championship on the DAF Media Network. Tonight, the two most storied programs in the Nutmeg State battle it out for the 2023 crown. It's the Wilton Warriors and the New Canaan Rams live from Testa Field on the campus of Norwalk High School. Taking a look at our updated bracket in this year's tournament, Wilton got here via the beat of Darien 11-10, and New Canaan survived Staples 9-5 in a game that the Rams was tied 2-2 at halftime. Then New Canaan scored 6 unanswered to take down the Staples Wreckers 9-5. It's a battle of the 3 seed and the 4 seed in the 2023 championship game. Hi everybody, joined alongside my broadcast partners John Frieders and Ryan Dahlquist. I'm Braden Schenk, welcoming you to the 2023 FCIAC Championship match. John, let's start with New Canaan, a team that struggled at parts of this season, started undefeated, found the roller coaster of the road. They took down Staples in a game that was a huge upset, and now they're in this FCIAC Championship. What have you seen out of New Canaan all season?
Yeah, you talk about it. New Canaan definitely on an up and down kind of stretch throughout the season. They lost at one point 3 straight FCIAC games, but then they were able to settle their feet, kind of turn it into cruise control in that last game. You saw it tied 2-2 up until halftime. And then after, you saw the magic of Doster Kroll and the rest of the New Canaan offense. And, you know, once they settle in, they are a very good team, especially with the Fogos.
Wilton has knocked New Canaan out of the past 2 FCIAC tournaments in the quarterfinals. And Ryan, now on the Wilton side of things, they entered this tournament as the 4 seed. Many people consider them the underdogs against Darien, but they came in, they stunned Darien 11-10, playing a near perfect game. And now Wilton has a chance to end a 20-plus year drought for an FCIAC championship.
Yeah, I mean, you said it, Braden. We were here 2 days ago. We watched the Darien-Wilton game. Wilton with that big upset. We see a team out here, a lot of experience, a lot of guys who know what they're doing with the ball, a lot of Dodgers who want to go to net, and I think this is going to be a tight one today.
It will be indeed, and there's a few players we need to watch in this game. The game starts with the face-off, and that's where we start with our players to watch in this game. On the Canaan side, they have a face-off duo that has been lethal all season, John, and the duo of Cam Weefelt and John Totaro has been the best in the FCIAC this year.
Yeah, you talk about it. The Fogo duo of Totaro and Weefelt has just been something really unseen so far on this New Canaan team throughout the years, but this year they have especially stepped it up, winning 72.4% of their faceoffs in the regular season. So if that doesn't tell you a story, then I don't know what else will. But they're both headed to college next year to play lacrosse. John off to Denver and Weefelt off to Bowdoin. But, you know, you see them, and that's where the game starts. Once you win that faceoff, you can take the ball and move down and then move into your offense. And when you're winning faceoffs, the game tends to go better for you as a squad and takes pressure off your defense, obviously.
The New Canaan team went 14-4 from the Face-Off X in the semifinals, a game that they took down the Staples Wreckers by winning it at the Face-Off X. And Ryan, on the Wilton side of things, they used the offensive firepower of Charlie Johnson to get in the game. The senior committed to Gettysburg netted 4 goals against the Wave on Tuesday, and Charlie just has that ability in him that he can score anywhere on the field.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Braden. Charlie Johnson, a name we heard a lot 2 days ago. I'm expecting to hear a lot from him today, and he just shows this Wilton offense to be very lethal. They can attack from all parts of the field, really put pressure on that defense, and I think that's something we're going to have to look today. Of course, Charlie Johnson, a big Dodger here, looking to go to net. He wants to get those goals. He's on that suicide mission, and yeah, just a very important player for this Wilton team.
Not only did he have 4 goals in the FCIAC semifinals, but 3 of them coming down the stretch. He had the game tire and the dagger goal to give Wilton the win in that game. So Charlie Johnson, look out for him. He's got 49 goals on the season. And there's a few more players we need to highlight. Our goaltenders tonight for New Canaan. The player looking to stop Johnson will be the senior netminder Holden Busby. Busby fresh off of 13 saves in the FCIAC semis, and he is in his 3rd year starting for this Rams team. John, what do you like about Holden?
Well, you saw last time between both games, both the semifinal games, the goalies had to step up if their team wanted a chance, and that is exactly what Busby did. People a little bit uncertain, but had confidence in him, and he shattered expectations against Staples last time, especially making those key saves right at the beginning of the game as New Canaan was trying to set their feet. Busby able to keep out goals and really provide that confidence for the Rams team, especially their defense with Gray Tomasco, Bryce Slyden, and their defense, Will Hayes. You know, you just see it. Once the goaltender's playing better and playing stronger, you see the defense follow through as well.
Real quick, Ryan, Wilton, they've got the goaltending lights of Evan Blankenship taking over for Colin Lenskold. What do you like out of the senior goaltender?
Of course, you said it, Evan Blankenship, the senior goaltender, the lefty, likes eating up those outside shots, and New Canaan with a lot of outside shooters, so I see a battle there today.
Evan Blankenship, the goalie for the Wilton Warriors, 6 feet. Exactly the 55% save percentage for the Wilton Warriors. Again, taking over for Len Skolt is tough, but that is what Evan Blankenship will be looking to do for Wilton. Wilton and New Canaan, our FCIAC championship for the year of 2023. It's the Wilton Warriors and the New Canaan Rams in the 2023 FCIAC Boys Lacrosse Championship, live from Testa Field, coming up next on the DAF Media Network.
Number 4, senior Charlie Johnson. Number 6, senior Tommy McKiernan. Number 8, junior Connor Flanagan. Number 12, number 14, senior Spencer Liston. Number 19, junior Nathaniel Rack. Number 22, senior Michael Wall. Number 27, senior Evan Blankenship. Number 32, sophomore Jack Schwartz. And number 44, senior Andre Weiss. And now the starting lineup for the New Canaan Rams. Number 2, senior Ryan Connolly. Number 3, junior Colin Finnegan. Number 4, Matthew Salmini. Number 7, senior Griffin Gettner. Number 11, junior Ray Tabasco. Number 23, junior Dustin Kroll. Number 24, senior Teddy Rosen. Number 25, junior Luke Reed. Number 46, sophomore Bryce Lyden. And number 88, senior Holden Busby. Now passing, rise and remove your hats. We'll honor America with the play of our national anthem.
The players are ready, the crowd is ready, and so are we. Let's take a look at our starting lineups in this one. John, walk us through the New Canaan starters.
And you have Dr. Kroll, Ryan Connolly, and someone else, and then Griffin Gettner, Salmini, and Luke Reed, all very talented. You have the face-off man going out there, Wheatfeld, and Hayes. Then you have your defense, Bryce Lyden, Teddy Rosen, and Gray Tomasco. And then in the cage, you have Holden Busby.
Those are the starting 12 for Chip Buzzio's team. And on the Wilton side of things, the starters for head coach Steve Pearsall, Dave Sylvester, Charlie Johnson, Michael Wall. Moving over to the midfield for the Wilton Warriors, Tommy McKiernan, the two RPI commits, Caleb and Charlie Rath, both seniors. Watch out for them. Then the starting Fogo, Spencer Liston, the soon-to-be Providence Fryer, and Connor Flanagan manning the LSM. And then the defense for the Wilton Warriors, Nate Rath, Jake Schwartz, Andre Wiest, the Hobart commit. Followed out by our goalie, which we highlighted in the open, Evan Blankenship, the senior.
It'll definitely be interesting to see which team wins the opening faceoff, as that could determine a lot about this game. We'll see both teams lining up here for the coin toss, and then the goalies will shake hands and go to their respective cages.
Yes, and let me add real quick, now that we're off camera, the memo I got here from our advisor, Damian Andrew, was a polo shirt, a.k.a. something nice. Of course, John and Braden showed up in full blazers. I feel a little underdressed. I'm not that mad about it, though, and I'm excited to get right into this one.
Glad that you pointed that out, at least.
Yeah,
Anything.
Exactly.
Nonetheless, the handshake between Busby and Blankenship, and we are just about ready to go in the 2023 FCIAC Boys Lacrosse Championship. Let's meet our Fogos to get us started in this game. Spencer Liston, the Providence commit for the Wilton Warriors, and then John Totaro will be taking the opening faceoff. So correction, Totaro, the starting Fogo, 72.4% winning faceoffs on the New Canaan side. Both of them around the 73 margin, so it's going to be interesting, this almighty first faceoff between Spencer Liston and John Totaro.
And Totaro is going to Denver, just to add, to show how good Totaro is.
Here we go. We are underway in the 2023 FCIAC Boys Lacrosse Championship. The stalemate at the Norwalk N. Both teams want to win this first face-off. Neither Liston or Totaro giving in. Liston makes the move on it. And the ground ball fielded by the long stick of Connor Flanagan. And the Warriors will be first on the offense. Wilton moving from left to right on your screen. In the visiting blues with the blue helmets, white numbers. New Canaan in the home whites with the black numbers and the black helmets. I'm not sure if New Canaan thought they would be wearing the home whites today, but somehow the 3 seed is hosting this game. John, you pointed out Tommy McKiernan starting for the Wilton Warriors today, and head coach Steve Pearsall electing to get some size out there on the attacking units.
You see here Wilton playing very slow, play their tempo, and try to get the best look that they possibly can. Very mature team, and know when to push the pace and when to keep it back and try and maintain possession here to try and get the first goal.
That's Charlie Johnson, the Gettysburg commit, 49 goals on the season. Off the screen from Tansil. Now onto the wing. The first shot instead fakes it behind the nets. Sylvester now to Michael Wall. Wall being guarded tightly by the likes of Teddy Rosen. The long stick playing the pesky defense. The ball's knocked loose. Trying to grab it is number 24, Teddy Rosen. But the Warriors stay on it. Once again, the long stick of Bryce Lyden coming up clutch, the sophomore. What a stand by this New Canaan defense to open up the game, as now the Rams get the ball. Ryan Connolly fielding the ground ball, and the Ram offense goes to work. Connolly running his rounds to Griffin Gettner, 2 of the 4 senior captains on this New Canaan squad. Gettner in the end zone. McKiernan playing the defense. Gettner 11 goals on the season for New Canaan. Football player in the fall, lacrosse player in the spring. Spin move. Here's Matt Salmini at X. Connolly. Bad pass. Regrouped.
Yeah, you'll see the Rams will try to get the ball to Doster Kroll here. You talk about how good he is. And you'll see if Doster can find the ball and maybe put on a shot. You see he has a lethal stick.
Doster Kroll, he had 4 goals in the semifinal win against Staples, all 4 of which coming in that big goal stretch for New Canaan. It was 2-2 at halftime. The Rams went up 8-2 in the early goings of that third quarter. And that's what they used to get the victory 9-5 in the semifinals and advance to this FCIAC championship. And it was just a matter of if they saw Wilton or Darien. First shot off the stick of Luke Reed behind the nets. And a pass Not completed to Dosterkroll. The turnover going to Wilton. And both teams exchange the turnovers on their opening possessions. Andre Wiest in the midfield. The long stick, senior captain. Now McKiernan. McKiernan 2 goals on the season. He had an assist in the FCIAC semifinal win. Caleb Rath slowing it down, waiting for his brother Charlie to sub into the game.
Now it's going to be interesting to see here, Braden, where Wilton pushes from. You know, as we talked about at the start, they've got Dodgers at all positions. They're threats on all parts of the field. And versus Darien, we saw them dodge from all areas, the wings up top at X. And it's interesting to see where they're going to push from, where they're going to try and get past this New Canaan defense.
Rath to the other Rath. Now to Charlie Johnson.
Yeah, and you talk about it. Usually you'd say, oh, get the ball to Charlie Johnson, but he's guarded by Gray Tomasco, a very good defender for this Rams team. And that is our matchup of the day, I would assume, just with how good both those players are. And that'll be a key factor in determining whether or not the Rams can come out with this game.
Tomasco, the All-FCIAC third-teamer a season ago. The defender, just a junior, 3-star recruits. He's a player that's really held this defensive effort together for the Rams.
Yeah, John, you talked about the leadership of Tomasco out there. Might I just add, I got to play with Tomasco on my club team. We called him Hot Sauce back then. And he's definitely a big defenseman out here for New Canaan with that big long pole and that big leadership position. And, yeah, definitely a matchup to watch today.
Can I ask why you called him Hot Sauce?
Well, it's Tabasco Hot Sauce there, Braden. And I believe that's Buzzio's nickname for him, actually. But, yeah, he's definitely like Hot Sauce. He's really on fire here for this New Canaan defense.
Probably could have figured that. Going to the cage, shooting stopped by Holden Busby. And Busby has his first save of the contest. And the ball is staying with the Warriors. Sylvester moving it around the perimeter. Rath starting his dodge. The tomahawk shot stopped by Holden Busby.
And there you see it, Busby still carrying that good defensive play from the first game in the semis, and now able to get the key stop on the Wilton Warriors offense.
Clear successful from Teddy Rosen. Going to work is Colin Finnegan. Finnegan had a goal in the FCIAC semis against Staples. To get the touch in the box. Now to Thomas Garcia, the junior. And here are the chants from the Wilton student section. Good crowd coming out from Wilton, Connecticut. A lot of traffic, I heard, so probably a late crowd to this game. A game that was supposed to start at 7 p.m. moved up to 5 p.m. Moved by Salmini. He takes the shot. Stopped by Blankenship, and Mount Salmini wanted that one. Warriors going the other way with it. Just past the long stick of Flanagan. Gettner has it, and New Canaan sets back up on the offense. The best case scenario for the Rams right there. They get a shot off and get the ball right back. That's Salmini commanding the offense. 17 goals for Salmini on the season. He had 1 on Tuesday. Reed rifles it just wide.
Yeah, and Braden, like we talked about at the start, this New Canaan offense likes to get those far out shots.
Yeah, and they have the sticks to put those balls in. Usually you don't see a team of this, a team like this that has so many kids that can shoot the ball from far, and it's such an advantage for this Rams team.
Garcia comes back in the place of Luke Reed.
Yeah, and you're exactly right there. I stopped there because the refs paused the game for a second, but I was going to say that Evan Blankenship been locked down here. We saw a big save there.
Another by Evan Blankenship, right on cue. The Wilton senior makes a stop. Now McKiernan on the clear. Over to Flanagan, the long stick has it. Flanagan takes the shot and he scores! Connor Flanagan, the long stick, puts Wilton on the board, and we have our first goal in the FCIAC championship.
A great play there by Connor Flanagan. I actually played on a club team with him, and one of the things that's so special about him is his stick skills and his ability to push that transition. Wilton uses him so much for that transition, and anyone who's looking to learn the sport, who's getting into it, you got to focus on those stick skills. Definitely something lethal for Connor Flanagan, something that Darien highlighted in their last play with them 2 days ago, and we see it pay off there with a big goal for Wilton.
Yeah, and you see as he's coming down, instead of having to dish the ball off, he can take the ball in his own stick and take the shot like you just said. And what an advantage for the Warriors team as Wilton wins the face-off against Cam Wheatfeld.
And the holding gives it to Liston and the Warriors after the big goal from the long stick. And Spencer Liston, the Fogo, he'll play some offense in him. There's a reason that he's going off to play for the Providence Friars, the 4-star recruits. 73% on the face-off wins. He has some goals to his name. Had 2 against Darien earlier this year.
Hey, we're good now, right? Thanks, Coach.
And now Johnson will settle it down. Under the 5-minute mark in this first quarter. Rath. Over to Caleb Rath. The Warriors taking their time now. Busby came out some ways. Sylvester Trips gets right back up. The long stick playing the defense of Bryce Leiden, and Leiden knocks it loose. Busby's there to field the ground ball. Ball going to the Rams.
Saw Bryce there with a little shove after, really showing how physical he is as a player. You know, he's in my class. He's also a multi-sport athlete, like we talk about, the star for the New Canaan ice hockey team.
Bryce Leiden, a player, a sophomore, didn't see much time to start this year, but with the injury of Gray Tomasco throughout the course of the year, Leiden saw his time increase and eventually found his way to starting for this New Canaan team. Our first time out in the ballgame called by Chip Buzzio. 1-0, Wilton leads New Canaan in the 2023 FCIAC Boys Lacrosse Championship. You're watching the DAF Media Network, and we'll be right back after this message. Canaan breaks their huddle. They trot back out on the field. 4:07 left in this first quarter. Wilton 1, New Canaan nothing, thanks to a long stick goal from Connor Flanagan. That's where we stand in the FCIAC Championship. One of these teams will walk away with a piece of championship hardware. The other, well, they'll have to wait until next year for their shot. Wilton, they have 13 FCIAC titles in their program history. New Canaan 11. Neither of these teams have won it since the post-COVID era. It's only been Darien to win it since post-COVID, the 2-time defending FCIAC champs. They fell in the semifinals to the Warriors. Although both of these teams are accustomed to playing in this game, Wilton, their 25th appearance in an FCIAC title match. New Canaan, their 30th. A shot there off the post. That one was taken by Henry Laddick, number 36. And Blankenship holding his post. In front of the cage, wide open. Blankenship makes another stop. Salmini losing that one to the sea of Wilton defenders. Laddick has it. Or at least he's going for it. The aggressive play picked up by the long stick of Connor Flanagan. Flanagan fighting off the New Canaan players. Has that quickness in him. He can maneuver his way around anybody. Now the long stick of Nate Rath. And that's going the other way. Infraction against the Warriors. New Canaan will get the ball. Tomasco the restart. Low pass picked up on a bounce to Dosterkroll. And Blankenship intercepts it just high on Connolly.
Yeah, you see New Canaan trying to grip their offense here, getting opportunities and just not able to catch the ball and take the shot, almost looking at the net before they catch the pass. And if they keep getting these opportunities, they will convert with the talent on this squad.
Wilson Tansil at the 40 with it. Tansil 11 goals to his name on the season. A returning varsity player for this Warrior squad. Charlie Rath seeing the touch now. Rath had a hat trick in the regular season meeting against the Rams. McKiernan. It's actually Johnson, rather. Referee's letting him play on. Johnson over to Michael Wall on the wing.
Yeah, and Braden, about what you mentioned before, how both these teams, no strangers to this FCIAC title game. I think anywhere in southwestern Connecticut, this is some of the best lacrosse in the country. These are all great teams out here, and I would not underestimate any of them. Of course, you know, 3rd and 4th seed, weren't really looking for them to get this far, but here they are, and here they go for this championship.
Cutting pass, just a little too much on it for Rath. Good sequence, but the Warriors unable to convert on it. They still stay with it. Tansil at the 30. On his dodge. Shoots off of the crossbar. Ring the aluminum. And now Tomasco on the near side across the 50 with it. Successful clear for Gray. And now he gives it to Thomas Garcia in the Rams offense. Garcia down low. Connolly stopped by Blankenship. A point-blank save made by the Wilton senior. And now the Warriors. Here come the Wilton Warriors. One-on-one scoring is Dave Sylvester. You can't draw it up any better than that right there. The sequence starting with the save from Blankenship. In transition, Sylvester left open. And Dave Sylvester just going low on the goaltender Busby to put the Warriors up 2-0.
Yeah, and Braden, I think you're really capturing the energy of the fans out here, and you can see how lethal that transition offense can be. Of course, New Canaan looking down, looking for that doorstep shot. A big save there by Evan Blankenship, and then a big clear, and now Wilton able to go down and finish that one, get themselves back on the board.
Yeah, you talk about it. The goalie play here has just been superb, especially from Blankenship. And you see how that leads into the offense, like we mentioned before. Blankenship getting his job done and able to help Wilton climb to a 2-0 lead.
Back to the face-off X. Johnson, Taro, Spencer Liston out there. Wilton has won the first 2 face-offs, and they win a third. This time the long stick of William Hayes. Shoots it and he scores! Off the face-off, Will Hayes, the long stick, going top corner. And the Rams are on the board.
And that is Hayes, who's an absolute unit of sheer muscle. And you see him with the long stick there, able to get the ground ball. And those ground balls mean so much in lacrosse, especially in these games. Able to pick up the ground ball and able to score with the long stick. And you don't really see long stick goals, right? But there you see 2 in the first period, in the first quarter of this game. And Will Hayes able to punch that home and shrink the lead to just 1.
And according to the stat sheet we were given before this tournament, that is goal number 1 for Will Hayes on the season. Although I'm not sure if we were given stats for Hayes either.
That is Will Hayes' first goal on the year.
Down low, looking for more. Wasn't sure because the email from head coach Chip Buzzio we got before the tournament only had his starters listed in their stats. So I just want to put that out there in case it was wrong. Turnover. Picked up by the long stick. Wide open is the Cage, shooting just wide. Wide open was Colin Finnegan, unable to convert on that, but a great shot by the long stick of Bryce Leiden to give New Canaan the look on that.
Yeah, you saw the hit there from McKiernan on Leiden, and that's what you're looking for if you're Wilton. You want to see the defense aggressiveness kick up in games like this.
Duster Kroll soaring it just high of Connolly, regrouping with 30 seconds. Salmini.
Yeah, and John, to build on what you said, some of the alumni probably watching this game will remember the term clear the crease, right? They're trying to use any and all means to make sure that you don't have a shot on the doorstep, even if that means laying out a guy on the crease, as we saw there. Big defensive stop there by Wilton, and I mean, it is exciting out here. All the fans on their feet.
Good clear by Liam Pearsall. Push called, keeping it with the Warriors. Trying to sell the call was Teddy Rosen, but instead the Warriors stay with it. 3.9 to work. The pass, and that's off to the bench. 0.6. Well, we're not quite yet done in this first quarter, although the players will just start trotting back to their benches. And now we are officially to the end of the first quarter. Wilton 2, New Canaan 1. You're watching the DAF Media Network in the 2023 FCIAC Boys Lacrosse Championship. We'll be back with more action between the Warriors and the Rams.
This broadcast is produced by DAF Media, a joint venture between the Darien Foundation and the Darien Athletic Foundation. The production is staffed by student and adult volunteers from the town of Darien and southwestern Connecticut.
Well, these were two of the first teams in the Nutmeg State when it comes to varsity boys lacrosse. Wilton founded all the way back in 1965. The Rams celebrating their 50th year started in 1973, and here we stand in Wilton's 25th look at an FCIAC championship, and New Canaan their 30th look. Both teams looking to pick up one more piece of championship hardware, but the big number you look at, 1999, the last time the Wilton Warriors won the FCIAC. So the Warriors looking to end a long drought of a piece of championship hardware. There's your program comparison. Here we go in this second quarter between Wilton and New Canaan. Liston and Totaro getting set back up at the face-off X. New Canaan hasn't utilized Cam Wheatfeld much today. It's been all John Totaro for New Canaan.
Yeah, you talk about it. Totaro and Wheatfeld kind of switch off, but they go based on whoever's playing the best. And you saw Rudin, his interview, and he talked to them, and they just said whoever's playing the best that day can take it. They play against each other in practice so much. They know each other. And they're really good friends, so they let whoever's playing better take the face-off that given day.
Although the big thing when these teams met in the regular season, a shot stopped by Busby. That Fogo Spencer Liston was looking for something. As I was saying, when these teams met in the regular season, New Canaan won the first 6 face-offs against the Warriors, and they used that en route to a 5-1 lead that they had at the end of the first quarter and really into the second quarter. They won that game 8-6. Off to the wing, Kroll, he winds up. Stopped by a defender. That time was the long stick of Michael Wall, or the long stick of Jake Schwartz, rather. Jack Schwartz getting in the middle of it. And the ball's going to the Rams.
Yeah, that's not going to feel good if you're the defender blocking Doster Kroll's shot, but that's what needs to happen if Wilton wants to win, because Doster's so accurate from the corners. That's where he specializes in, from the low to high shots, and that's where he sees most of his production come from.
Correction, ball going to the Warriors. The teams flip sides in this second quarter. The Warriors moving from right to left on your screen in the visiting blues with the blue helmets, white numbering. New Canaan in the home whites and the black helmets and black numbering from left to right on your screen. For just joining us, Braden Shake, John Frieders, and Ryan Dahlquist with you. So glad you can be with us on the DAF Media Network. DAF, a joint venture of the Darien Athletic Foundation and the Darien Foundation, bringing you live coverage of the 2023 FCIAC Boys Lacrosse Tournaments. Dave Sylvester to Michael Wall around the perimeter. There's Caleb Rath. Now James Kane will check in, the senior. First touch he sees. Kane was called up for the state tournament a season ago, back for his first full year on this varsity squad. Caleb Rath, the lefty, fighting through the long stick defense of Will Hayes. Weak shot there, just on the near or far side, out of play.
Yeah, you talk about it. This New Canaan defensive front is just so good with Bryce Lyden, Will Hayes, Teddy Rosen, all these guys, and Greg Tomasco. You see these guys, they're just so good, and they know what they're doing, and they're cohesive.
Shot off the aluminum from Charlie Rath, the senior captain, ringing the pipes on that one.
Yeah, and like you said, John, it's 2-1 here in the second quarter. It's definitely been a battle of the defense. And I think we've seen a lot of big plays here made on both defensive sides. Of course, Wilton coming off of a big defensive stand against Darien last Tuesday, and New Canaan coming off their own win in their own upset. And yeah, it's definitely been a kind of war of attrition out here between these two big defenses.
Shot stopped by Holden Busby. And when you give Busby a lane like that, he will make the stop 9 times out of 10. A 3-time Nike National All-Star with the save. Bryce Lyden, the long stick. Short pass finds its way to Finnegan. Nate Rath going back to work on the defense.
New Canaan waiting here. Wilton's defense has been swarming them so far, and you just see it in every facet of the game. This game is going to continue to get more physical as it goes on, even though it's already extremely physical.
See both of these high schools girls teams trickling into the stadium. They met in the FCIAC semis on Monday. Salmini still has it. Passes this one off at X. Kroll to Gentner. Or Getner, my apologies. Connolly finds a cutter, intercepted by Flanagan. And Connor Flanagan has been all over that field, the long stick midi. What a dodge by Flanagan. Timeout taken by head coach Steve Pearsall. He saw the likes of Will Hayes coming to intercept it. And Steve Pearsall takes his first of 2 timeouts in this first half. The Warriors leading the Rams 2-1. Ryan, what's been working so well for the Warriors so far?
Well, I mean, we saw it on Tuesday. Their offensive discipline has been off the charts. Now, this is an exciting one. There's been a lot of transition offense. And might I just give credit here to New Canaan's defense. They've been pretty locked down so far. But Wilton able to eke out 2 goals against them so far going into the second quarter. And I think that I'm going to give that one up to their Dodgers, to their grit, and to their ability to take smart shots at the right times, back up their shots, and hold on to that possession.
Yeah, you talk about it. That is basically how Wilton was able to defeat Darien in the semis, just playing their game and not getting consumed in all the pressure, the nerves, and the pace that Darien wanted to play with, and just playing their game, being patient, waiting for the right look, and then capitalizing off the turnovers. You haven't seen New Canaan make that many turnovers so far, and that is a key for New Canaan. Is if you, or both these teams respectively, if you make turnovers, the other team will capitalize. They're 2 great teams, and they know how to capitalize off errors and small mistakes.
Teams break their huddles, return to play. 2-1, Wilton leads New Canaan in the 2023 FCIAC Boys Lacrosse Championship. One of these teams is going home with a piece of championship hardware. Will it be the Warriors? Will it be the Rams? Only time will tell. Ball will be restarted for the Warriors and number 11, Wilson Tansel, after the Steve Pearsall timeouts. Tansel touches it in the box and retreats it out, setting up the offense now. 8 minutes to go before halftime. Still no flags in this game. The referee's letting them play on. Dave Sylvester. Sylvester in front of the cage to Wall. Michael Wall, 21 goals, 47 points this season for the Warriors senior. All FCIAC honorable mention a year ago, committed to Union College.
Yeah, you could just see how tight the Rams' defensive formation is right now, trying to make sure there are no cuts or any close shots get in on Busby. They'll live with the super far shots. The Rams' defense just being relentless as Tomasco is able to get that ground ball and able to feed it up to the offense.
Here's the Rams, number 21, Walker Blair, the senior. Timeouts for head coach Chip Buzzio and the New Canaan Rams. An interesting tactic when you compare the coaching style of Chip Buzzio to those of Will Koshansky or Jeff Braymeyer. He utilizes all 4 timeouts he has given. We're halfway through the second quarter, and he's already used both of his timeouts. What's the difference in style, and how does that affect the play, Ryan?
Well, I mean, looking at Buzzio, he's definitely been here for a long time. Now, from a tactic-wise, he's trying to get his offense set up out here. You know, it's definitely been a very exciting game so far. A lot of transition elements, low scoring so far, but we've had a lot of shots, seen a lot of great saves and a lot of great defensive stands. But I think Buzzio's out here not being afraid to use his timeouts and to set up his offense. You know, New Canaan trailing by 1 and looking for an opportunity here.
And John, what is the mentality for New Canaan now that they've already burned through their 2 timeouts in the half, and they still got to go the next 7 minutes and 12 seconds without a timeout, essentially?
Well, I think you talk about that, and Buzzio recognizes how big of a moment this actually is right now with the ball up top and able to set up a given play instead of waiting and then not knowing when to use it or even not even being able to use it. He wants to try to capitalize off this opportunity that they've been given, and if he's able to convert, it'll tie it up at 2-2, and that's much different than a 2-1 game or a 3-1 game if Wilton ends up scoring. You know, that next goal is going to be big, whether it's New Canaan or Wilton. So he recognizes how important this actually is.
There's a huge difference between a tie game or a 3-1 Wilton lead, so that's a great point you make, John. The next goal will be a crucial one in this ball game, as Dostra Kroll will restart it along the New Canaan bench. He's being guarded by Jack Schwartz. Schwartz, the long stick, wearing the number 32 jersey. And the Warrior defense holds strong right on cue. Schwartz going the other way with it to McKiernan. And that's exactly what New Canaan did not want to do. The long stick winds up and off the stick of Busby. The Warriors wanted another long stick goal. Tommy McKiernan in the end zone to restart.
That's the opposite of what you wanted to see if you're Coach Buzzio. You turn the ball over, come down, and have the free shot on Busby. Busby able to make the big save. You can't have that happen. Otherwise, Wilton's going to start converting. Busby can't make every save, obviously, even though he has been really, really good so far in this first half.
Rath tries to go behind the back with it. Pass into no man's land. And it's picked up by the Rams. Number 24, Teddy Rosen, the senior.
Yeah, Braden and John, I can't help but mention the physicality of both of these defenses. I mean, look at those massive stops on both sides. Of course, Wilton coming off the timeout with a big stop there, and New Canaan with a big one there, causing those turnovers, getting those balls down to their offense. You know, these are two high-level offenses, but I think this has been a battle of the defenses so far. What do you guys think?
It definitely is 2-1 our score here as we're nearing halftime. Both of these teams have high-powered offenses, although they're playing the defensive battle here. I mean, you look at Wilton, they put up 11 goals against the top-seeded Darien in the semifinals, and New Canaan, they kept the second-seeded Staples to only 5 goals.
You mentioned that, but it was 2-2, Staples and New Canaan at half as he scores!
The off-speed for Matt Salmini knocks us up at 2. Sometimes you just take a little off it, hope you can fool the goaltender, and that's exactly what Matt Salmini does. The bouncer ties us up.
Yeah, Salmini there with the bounce shot up. If you're looking at the goal, it's the top left corner, and it looked like Blankenship just misread the ball. There were bodies in front of him, commotion, not able to read where the ball is, and Salmini gets that goal, and that evens the game up at 2. And although Buzzio's timeout did not work effectively right away, it did settle New Canaan down, and they were able to just tie the game up there. What a big goal for Salmini in a big spot for this Ram offense.
Goal number 18 for Matt Salmini on the season. And we are tied at 2 in the FCIAC championship. Jack Schwartz coming the other way with it. Long pass finds the stick of George Hahn. Hahn off to the wing, the great ball movement. Johnson falling to the ground, ball stripped away.
And there's Tomasco there again with the stop. And you just see he is so good. He's so aware of where everyone is, and he's such a communicator, as you mentioned before. He knows where the ball's going, and he's able to stop it and then able to clear it, and you saw great defensive work there by Tomasco.
Busby right back over to the far wing, and great Tomasco.
Yeah, and if I can take us back to that last goal there by New Canaan, I want to give Evan Blankenship a little bit of credit there. Looks like Wilton got a piece of the stick there by the shooter, and that's a really hard one to save there, especially when you can't see the stick. It's not going the direction that it originally was going, and ends up being well placed in the top left corner. Tough one to save, and a big important goal there for New Canaan.
Doster Kroll over to Gettner. Griffin Gettner winds up, and he scores!
No.
Oh. I think one of the referees, signaled the goal on it. That's why they had to go and wave it off. It hit the side of the cage, which from our angle looked like it went in. I could have swore the VAR official put the hands up on it. Nonetheless, it is no goal. Thank you for keeping me in check, guys.
Well, Braden, might I add, out on the field, some of those players call it a mom goal because when it hits the outside of the goal, the moms start cheering, and we can hear that from up here. But that fooled us too. So, big goal, big almost goal there by New Canaan, and that's going to go the other way for Wilton.
Well, normally a lot of these places have started using the black netting so that you could see the ball more visibly. A place like Chesterfield, they use the white netting for the cages. The ball kind of gets lost on the near side if it's inside or outside. So there's definitely some confusion associated with that, and the referees had to clear that up. So my apologies, no goal on that. Bounced off the post. Once again, the New Canaan defense holds strong. Ty Groff out there, the senior midfielder.
Yeah, and you talk about Ty. He's a 3-sport athlete, the star kicker and quarterback for the football team in the fall, and then in the winter moves to basketball, and now in the spring in lacrosse. Really athletic senior for this Rams offense.
Groff, the senior, committed to Rhode Island to play football for the Rams next fall. Running the routes behind the net is New Canaan and number 36, Henry Laddick. Laddick had a goal against Wilton in the regular season. Over to Connolly. Connolly, an Eclipse product, playing for Jamie Hanford. And he goes between the legs. Through the 5-hole of Blankenship, and Ryan Connolly gives the Rams their first lead of the ball game.
Yeah, Ryan Connolly with a great dodge there. Look how he goes underneath, roll dodges on his defenseman, dives in front of that crease, making sure that he's not in the crease, and sneaks that one past the Wilton goalie. Puts New Canaan in an important lead here late in the first half.
And you see, if they're the defense, you can't let the offense, your matchup, get inside. Can't let him get past you. And Connolly able to sneak past him there with the dodge and the spin, and able to dive and put it behind Blankenship to make the lead 3-2. New Canaan up with a little bit of time remaining in the second half, in the second quarter of the first half.
This game was 2-1. New Canaan scored the last two. Totaro on the faceoff win, keeps himself, rifles it just high, and the Fogo wanted a goal. Possession staying with the Rams.
I tell he was goal hungry there. Got the faceoff, move it down, and then saw an opportunity for the shot and took it, just not able to convert.
Doster Kroll on the restart. Kroll pass just high of Finnegan. Finnegan regroups. Comes very close to that 50-yard line, but keeps it on the offensive ends. That's Salmini off the bench. Salmini going to the left hand, dumping it off at X. Connolly. Now to Luke Reed. And a bad pass on Connolly. That's going the other way.
Yeah, and you see there's two bad passes by the Rams offense, slowing down their possession, and that pass ends up costing them the turnover. And the first one was very close to being a turnover. Can't have those miscues if you're the Rams, especially in this big of a game.
Liam Pearsall on the far side to Wiest. Andre Wiest, the long stick, again committed to Hobart to play lacrosse. And a timeout called by head coach Steve Pearsall. A minute 34 left in the half. New Canaan has come all the way back to re-grab the lead. It's 3-2 Rams in the FCIAC championship. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
DAF Media is actively seeking financial support. Founded in 2017, DAF Media has quickly become Southwestern Connecticut's source for quality sports, arts, and community programming. If you like what you see on the DAF Media Network and want to help us continue to deliver high-quality broadcasts while teaching lifelong STEM, communication, organization, and leadership skills, please email us at sponsor@dafmedia.org. We are a registered 501c3 organization.
A minute 34 left in this first half after the Wilton timeout. Will be Warrior possession as they look to re-grab the lead before we head into the halftime break. You're watching the DAF Media Network, a joint venture of the Darien Athletic Foundation and the Darien Foundation, bringing you live coverage of the 2023 FCIAC Boys Lacrosse Tournament. Braden Schenk, John Frieders, Ryan Dahlquist on hand. So glad you can be with us, wherever you may be. Restart for the Warriors. Michael Wall looking for a cutter. He doesn't find one. Now off to number 20, Caleb Rath.
Yeah, you see Wilton kind of savoring this possession, not wanting to give it away easily, not wanting to make the mistake.
A shot and a goal. Caleb Rath going top shelf, hopping up and scoring. And the senior committed to RPI gives the Warriors the lead.
Yeah, and look at that goal there by Caleb Rath. The Wrath of Wrath moving around in that crease, fighting through those checks and getting a high-quality shot there in the top right of the corner of the goal. Goes right past the goalie and puts another one on the board for Wilton. Important goal there. And, yeah, what an impressive goal.
Yeah, and you see, that's the reason why you call that timeout if you're Steve Pearsall. You want to set up that offensive possession and even up the game before half. And that's what he was able to do there with the great goal by Rath.
It's actually a tie ball game, 33. I don't know why I thought the score was 2-2. Now it's 3-3, tied up. Thought you were going to make some mom reference on that one, Ryan. Messing up the score? No?
Oh, no.
No?
No, you're good, Braden. You're too good at this. I can't make fun of you because I'm new.
Spencer Liston wins it for the Warriors, stays on the offense, dumps it off. Nice spin move by McKiernan. He doesn't think about it. Doesn't seem to know where the ball is. Instead, Michael Wall regroups on the ground ball. Charlie Johnson, 30 seconds to work. Both teams out of timeouts. Johnson regroups at the 50, 22 to work.
Wilton with possession here as the clock winds down. They have to get something here, but they are trying to save this possession. Tied ball game at 3-3. You can see the swarm of New Canaan defenders able to break that up.
And New Canaan breaks it up indeed, and there's not going to be time left for a Wilton shot. That takes us to halftime. Wilton 3, New Canaan 3. We're knotted up in the FCIAC championship. I'm going to start with you, Ryan. What did you see in the first half from Wilton?
Well, I mean, I'd actually like to zoom out and look at both these teams. Both their defenses operating on such high levels, and we've seen some transition goals. Now, looking at Wilton, we look at their transition players as the likes of Connor Flanagan, some of their middies who are going two ways, looking to push that transition. That's been the majority of the goals out here. It's been a very high-energy atmosphere. And, yeah, these defenses have put up some big stops, so that settled offense not really working as much as it was in the semifinal games. Both these teams looking to push some more transition. And, John, what else did you see?
Yeah, you saw physicality just continue to increase as it went on. Both defenses trying to stay as physical as possible and trying to prove that they are dominant than the other offense. And it's been working so far. We're tied 3-3 here, but it'll be interesting to see because, you know, someone offensively on one of these teams is going to step up and go on a hot streak like Dr. Kroll did in the semis, or Charlie Ellis. You saw him, and that just happens. You know, if you're the defense, if you're the coaches, you got to stress enough. This game is, we're in this game. It's time to go and stay aggressive defense. We can't let them get on a hot streak.
3-3 our score. We're going to step aside for halftime. We'll be back on the DAF Media Network with second half action between the Wilton Warriors and the New Canaan Rams in the 2023 FCIAC Boys Lacrosse Championship. Don't go anywhere.
The Darien Foundation was founded in 1998 by Richard and Maureen Chilton, and the thesis behind that founding was to bring technology to the Darien public school systems. And that launched us, and that got us going, and through technology and capital project initiatives, we've now funded over $5.5 million over the last 24 years to build a better Darien.
Our board really likes to get involved and assist the partners that we collaborate with, whether it's a grant for a youth project or a grant from a community service, schools, the police. Often they come to us with ideas that we help them bring to fruition.
The Darien Foundation recently awarded the Darien Police Department 2 grants. One was for laser shot and the other for Faro technology. Laser shot technology is based on decision making. It may come down to using their firearm, but in reality, we would like them to talk the situation down where you use less lethal force, and this program allows us to do that.
Police dropped the gun!
Faro technology gives us a 360-degree view, catching all the points we need to catch in our accident scene. It also takes a lot less time. This allows us to open up roads, get traffic flowing a lot quicker than we ever used to be able to. We can also map the inside of buildings. We can use it at outdoor crime scenes, indoor crime scenes. It's really used for a plethora of investigations. It's a tool that most other departments may not have their hands on just yet, and thanks to the Darien Foundation, we have that technology.
At Home in Darien is a nonprofit organization that helps senior citizens to remain living independently in their home and in the community. We provide important services to help them do so, such as transportation. Thanks to the Darien Foundation, we have this amazing new van, and we are so excited about it and what it'll do for the community.
From all standpoints, this is going to be a real improvement in the services we provide, both in terms of safety and comfort. The Darien Foundation is important to the community in the scope that they reach out to answer needs.
Post 53 is the town's ambulance service. We respond to over 1,600 emergency calls a year. We're a vital service that has been here for 51 years. The technology upgrades provided by the Darien Foundation has been a game changer for us. It's allowed us to improve our training. It has helped us hone our skills. You don't know how important an ambulance is until you actually need it. Thanks to our partnership with the Darien Foundation, who's provided all this technology and several grants throughout the years, we're able to continue to be prepared, to be well-trained and well-staffed, to respond 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, whenever you need it.
The Darien Foundation is really excited to be able to launch a new program for the Darien schools, which will benefit students K through 12 in all 7 schools. This is the new robotics program, which will be an extracurricular opportunity for students to build robots, compete against other leagues, and collaborate together.
Our robotics program is going to benefit students in so many ways. In regular classes, students are always looking for the right answer, that there's only one way to answer something. Robotics is completely different. In robotics, you learn that there are multiple solutions to every problem. You learn that you have these obstacles that you have to overcome. You have to really be a creative problem solver. And most importantly, you need to persevere.
Early on in the process, the Darien Foundation reached out to administration and the offer to provide funding for a project, and it just dovetailed beautifully to the goals of the strategic plan. I look forward to continue to work closely with the Darien Foundation, both on this project and other projects down the line.
We welcome ideas for possible grants. We'd like to do grants that promote and strengthen our community. Sometimes it's from an organization, sometimes it's from our emergency service partners, or it's from the Darien Public Schools. One of our most popular grants, which was the Playground by the Sound, came to us from 4 Darien moms who said, let's get together and figure out how to build this.
Thanks to the generosity of our board members and officers, every dollar you give to the Darien Foundation goes directly to the grants that we're supporting. I invite all of you to help us move our community further and support the Darien Foundation.
Celebrating and supporting Darien athletes. That is a simple mission of the Darien Athletic Foundation. Broadcasting live from the field, DAF Media covers 125 games a year. All Darien teams, our youth, in our town, on our fields. Fields like the center oval and upper oval turfs, the JV softball field, and Stadium East, the longest turf in New England, all made possible by the Darien Athletic Foundation and its generous founders and donors. The Darien Athletic Foundation is not just committed to building our town's athletic infrastructure, it's improving the civic infrastructure for everyone to enjoy. The multimedia scoreboard, the snack bar pavilion, and the stadium lights, a $750,000 investment that makes Darien High School just the second school in Connecticut with LED lights. The Darien Athletic Foundation board is made up of local parents who know just how quickly it goes by. Its archives of more than 60,000 photos capture those precious moments of our young athletes as they strive to be their very best. The Darien Athletic Foundation has raised almost $9.5 million for our town and its kids, and it's not stopping there, as it continues to build a legacy for our youth as bright as their future, both on and off the field.
DAF Media is actively seeking financial support. Founded in 2017, DAF Media has quickly become Southwestern Connecticut's source for quality sports, arts, and community programming. If you like what you see on the DAF Media Network and want to help us continue to deliver high-quality broadcasts while teaching lifelong STEM, communication, organization, and leadership skills, please email us at sponsor@dafmedia.org. We are a registered 501c3 organization.
Back on the DAF Media Network. Start of the second half between Wilton and New Canaan in the 2023 FCIAC Boys Lacrosse Championship. Teams switch sides for this third quarter. Wilton in the visiting blues with the white numbering and blue helmets. Moving from left to right on your screen. New Canaan in the home whites and the black numbers and black helmets from right to left. Spencer Liston, the Fogo, with the ball. Liston committed to Providence to face off for the Friars. If you're just joining us, Braden Schenk, John Frieders, and Ryan Dahlquist with you. So glad you can be with us on the DAF Media Network. Michael Wall. Defense being played by Teddy Rosen. Slowing it down is Caleb Rath, senior. All FCIAC first teamer a season ago. And this next goal is going to be a crucial one as we're tied at 3 apiece. Around the horn, Charlie Johnson getting the touch. He's been kept at bay so far, our player to watch. Great pass. Met with the check. Refs let him play it on. Wilton regains it.
Yeah, you can just see the physicality there from the Rams defense, not allowing anything to happen. When Johnson gets by his defender, there's someone right there in front of Busby to meet him so that Johnson doesn't have a shot, and that's what's kept New Canaan in the game. That's how they've been able to neutralize Johnson so far.
Johnson to Rath, now to Michael Wall. Wall 2 assists in last year's FCIAC championship game. Nice fake out the shot, and a goal! Charlie Rath. We're tied no more as Rath has the goal, and the Warriors regain the lead for the first time since the first quarter, and the bubbles explode here at Chesterfield.
Yeah, I mean, Braden, we talked about how lethal these Wilton Dodgers are, especially on their in their offensive zone. Look at that underneath dodge. Just tucks his stick, gets past the New Canaan defense, takes a shot after his shot by one of the Rams defensemen, and is able to put that one past the goalie, get Wilton back on the board, and a very important goal there, breaks the tie, and puts Wilton ahead in this one.
Goal number 24 for Charlie on the season, his first in this championship.
And you saw there Wilton just play patient, just wait for their shot, able to move the ball around as Wheatfeld is able to win the faceoff for the Rams. But you saw just the patience and the maturity of this Wilton offense was on showcase there.
That was the storyline heading into this FCIAC tournament. 4 teams, all 4 of them were very much capable of winning this tournament. It truly was a free-for-all. Once we got to the semifinals, Darien, Staples, New Canaan, Wilton, the 3 and 4 seeds meet in this championship, and now the 4 seed controls a 4-3 lead over the Rams. Just goes to show that there was no powerhouse in the FCIAC this year, and the state tournament's going to be an interesting ride coming up next. Gettner on the far side, being chased down by McKiernan. Gettner dumps it off to Ryan Connolly. Connolly, the senior, committed to Franklin and Marshall to play lacrosse for the Diplomats. Luke Reed was looking for the give and go. Instead, soars it high of Connolly and turns it over to the Warriors.
Yeah, and those are the errors if you're the Rams you cannot make on offense. Gives Wilton free possessions. And you saw that twice or three times in the first half where New Canaan just airmails a pass and then it stops the offensive productivity. And then you just see the momentum go towards Wilton's way, and it swings that way. And Wilton's controlling the ball now in the offensive zone.
Caleb Rath with the possession. Rath to Charlie. Charlie Rath had the last goal for the Warriors. And you look at his numbers this year, he had a 6-goal game against the Yorktown Huskers. Winding it up and shooting it to score is his brother Caleb Rath. And now both Rath brothers are on the board, and the Warriors now have a 2-goal lead.
Yeah, and you just see Wilton taking what is being given to them right now. Not necessarily giving the ball to Johnson, but allowing Johnson to be almost as a decoy here. And the Rath brothers able to convert here early in the second half and giving Wilton the 2-goal advantage. But you just see the great shot there by Caleb Rath, excuse me. And that puts Wilton up by 2 early into this second half.
That's what's worked for Wilton all season. Charlie assisting his brother Caleb for the goal, and vice versa. Those two have been a lethal duo. As Totaro wins the faceoff, takes it to the house, shoots it, stopped by the defender, number 19, Nate Rath. And now all 3 Rath brothers are getting in on the action. That's going to be one happy family dinner for the Raths tonight. And the best part for Wilton faithfuls is Nate Rath is just a junior, so he comes back for another year. The first time he will play without his brothers on this same team. Referees will now come out in conference.
Yeah, and on that last goal, just shows another area of Wilton's offense that's just such a threat out here. We saw versus that Darien game in their man-up situation when they were able to take super far-out shots and put them past Carter Hagan, who's a very good goalie committed to Loyola. Now they're looking to do the same thing against New Canaan. Here, New Canaan kind of does not extend as much as they probably should have, leaves that open shot open, and Wilton able to capitalize.
Connolly, spin move. Up high, soaring past Colin Finnegan, and the Warriors picking up Nate Rath in transition. Here comes a surging Nate Rath. The long stick skips it just high. And that one goes all the way out to the scoreboard, but a good look from the Wilton junior, and the Warriors retain the possession with Dave Sylvester.
Yeah, and you can just tell Wilton's been here, done that. They've been playing consistently. And you saw it against Darien, and you're seeing it today. Just the ability to just make their opponents make the turnovers, make the opponents make errors, and then that leads to their offense. Once the teams turn the ball over, Wilton able to scoop it up and basically has a fast break moving towards Busby or Hagan, but today towards Busby.
Wilson Tansel on the touch. Tansel starting his dodge. Out to an open Rath. Rath bounces that one up high. Winded up on it, but Caleb Rath just skipping it high. And possession staying with Wilton. 7:25 to play in this third quarter. Nice move by Dave Sylvester. High of Rath in the open space. Picked up by the long stick of Bryce Leiden, and the sophomore now has it. Leiden still up into the box. And Leiden loses it. The aggressive scrum for it. The Rams come away with it. The shot stopped by Blankenship. What a save by the Wilton senior, Evan Blankenship. Wide open, just past Wall. And you can see Busby with the heads-up play came out to defend Wall so that it wasn't going to be a one-on-one, in which Wilton already took the first one-on-one. So a good defensive play by Holden Busby, and now the Rams get the ball right back. There's so much going on right now. It's back and forth, up and down the field. Both teams had a look right there. And now New Canaan will settle it down with Bryce Leiden, the sophomore.
Yeah, and you saw both goalies there really being aware and showing their experience. Both Blankenship able to make that one-on-one save almost from 10 to 15 yards out, and then Busby able to recognize what was going to happen, like you just said, Braden, and able to prevent something before it started.
Griffin Gettner, the senior, to Reed. This Rams team needs some goals. It was 3-3 at halftime. They trail 5-3. Across a game of runs, Wilton on a 2-0 scoring run. Reed. Pushed off by Pearsall. Loses it, but regroups. Now Wiest playing the pesky defense, and the long stick knocks it loose. Andre Wiest going the other way with it. The All-FCIAC third-teamer a season ago. And that's where this game is differentiated. The Wilton long poles have stepped up. Nate Rath, Andre Wiest, Connor Flanagan with a goal. Wiest staying with it. Gruff trying to pick it up. Flip-flopping it on the 50-yard line. Rath can't grab it. The hot potato, and finally Busby has it before he's met with a hit. Turning it over, the unforced turnover, going in favor of the Warriors. Michael Wall.
Yeah, and Braden, one thing coaches say all the time is that ground balls win games. And a huge ground ball there for Wilton, securing that possession. Of course, this is a very close game now as we approach the middle of the third quarter. Wilton with an important possession here, trying to strengthen that lead against New Canaan, only up by 2 goals.
Yeah, and you see this play by New Canaan, really uncharacteristic. But this has also been their struggle when they lost those 3 FCIAC games in a row. The second half consistency of their offense and defense. And you see it playing a factor today. New Canaan just not playing very well fundamentally. This fundamental game, those ground balls, the box outs, getting the ball in possession and then calming down. They've been playing at too fast of a pace for them that they're not able to handle right now, and Wilton's able to capitalize.
You mentioned that 3-game losing streak for the Rams. They started the year 8-0 before they fell to Fairfield Prep 14-6, a game that the Jesuits came all the way back in. They played Darien, in which they were leading at the half. Behind the back pass, and stopped by Busby. But as I was saying, they played Darien in the second game of that slate, and the Rams went 23 minutes scoreless against Darien, let the Wave come all the way back en route to an 11-7 victory. So the Rams have, again, seen their highs, seen their lows, but right now they're just not playing their best lacrosse. Tansel over to Wall.
And missed pass there by Wilton on the opportunity. But you saw the Rams defense kind of collapsing around Busby, knowing that they can't let another goal in. They can't let this game get out of their hands. They need to stop the bleeding and get one here to bring them within 1 instead of losing by 3.
Michael Wall at X. Now in front of the cage, Sylvester. Over to the left-handed shot of James Kane. And that one out of play, 3:18 to go in the third quarter. Restart coming for Michael Wall.
And you see Wilton maintaining possession here, putting the pressure on the Rams. When will the Rams break out of this pressure? We'll have to see when, but it is going to be important. The longer they stay in their defensive zone, they can't operate anything on offense. They need to force a turnover here and stand up Wilton.
Yeah, and might I add, I've been looking at Wilton's offense for these past couple of minutes, trying to figure it out. And I'm watching those crease players. Look how they pop.
How about a goal? Charlie Johnson with another, his 50th on the season. And the Warriors are now on a 3-0 goal stretch.
And look at that goal there by Charlie Johnson. Gets his hands free. New Canaan a little slow to slide, because a player as good as Charlie Johnson, as soon as he gets his hands free in that lefty shooting spot, he's going for that shot. You cannot be late on that slide. New Canaan regretting that one a little bit, and Wilton definitely very grateful for that goal there by Charlie Johnson. Great shot right in the bottom left corner, sneaks one past the goalie.
Yeah, you talk about it, these really good players only need that little room of space, that inch of space, and then there you have no hesitation to fire a shot. And Charlie Johnson able to do it there, and that's one for the Warriors.
Spencer Liston one-handed scooping that ground ball. And Liston has just been dominating on the face-off X in this second half. The Warriors have not seen much going on the offense since the quarter change. It's not a goal in the second half yet. It's been all Warriors. And again, in the stakes of an FCIAC championship, you have to play a full 48 minutes. You can't take anything off, especially a full quarter. And it's going to be interesting how the Rams try to come back in the final 16 minutes or 14 minutes of this game.
Yeah, and Braden and John, here's where I want you to pay attention. That's number 20 there. Caleb Rath on the crease. And look, now he pops off. Look at these crease guys. Look at this offense here. They're popping off. They're looking for shots off that crease. They're looking for picks, off-ball slips, and they're trying to confuse this New Canaan defense.
One-on-one and scoring. Dave Sylvester with another. And it is all Warriors right now.
Yeah, you mentioned there, Sylvester just pops off, like you just mentioned. Pops off, looking for the ball, and then at that point when he receives the ball, it's a one-on-one against Busby. And if you're Busby there's not much you can do against the Sylvester, who fakes a couple times and shifts him out of his position and then able to easily put it in. But that's what you can't have if you're New Canaan. You can't pop up. You have to stay to your man. Otherwise, the crease players will pop off, and then they'll be wide open with their sticks, ready to bury goals.
Goal number 28 for the Wilton senior on the season. And the face-off going in favor of the Warriors. So once again, Wilton wins another face-off. Big hit there. Staying with it is Liston. The Fogo still out there. Minute 40 to go in the quarter. Wilton has scored 4 unanswered goals in this third quarter.
Yeah, and you can tell here, the refs are letting them play. You know, Wilton able to maintain possession, and the refs not calling anything. There could have been a call there, but it was not called by the refs.
Wilson Tansil on the far side. The Warriors have played this third quarter perfectly. Enter tied, now up 7-3.
Yeah, and Braden, here comes that element that we discussed at the beginning of this game. Wilton attacking now from their attack position from X. Of course, they've been attacking from the midfield position historically from throughout this game, but it just shows their ability to attack from all sides and put pressure on the defense.
Shot from Sylvester just out of play. And Dave Sylvester was looking for his hat trick. Wall on the restart. Defense being played by Teddy Rosen. Caleb Rath. High pass on Wall, out of play. Ball going to the Rams.
We'll see. The Rams need to get the ball down into the offensive zone and try to put up one to decrease the lead to 3. But you see Wilton's defense is so relentless. You see there an opportunity and just not able to get a hold from the pass. Here's New Canaan.
The long stick has a shoot, stopped by Blankenship. Bryce Lyden was looking for a goal, and Evan Blankenship holds his post. Just a couple ticks left. That one going all the way downfield, and that will take us to the end of the third quarter through 3. Wilton 7, New Canaan 3. The Warriors score 4 unanswered, and now Wilton just stands 12 minutes away from the FCIAC crown. We'll be back on the DAF Media Network. Taking a look now at our series history between the Warriors and the Rams. The last 27 meetings dominated by New Canaan, 18-9. And this is the 16th time that Wilton and New Canaan meet in an FCIAC championship. By far the most that we have ever seen by two teams. And you see the last time they played in an FCIAC championship, New Canaan won it 9-8 back in 2019. And it's only the second time since the flip to the 2000s that these teams meet in an FCIAC championship. But again, the 16th all-time meeting between the Warriors and the Rams in the FCIAC championship. And the Warriors just stand 12 minutes away from taking home their first FCIAC crown since 1999. a program that has been dominant for so long, but has gone 24 years without an FCIAC title, and now there's only 12 minutes standing in their way. Spencer Liston and Cam Wheatfelds for the face-off. Liston was dominant in the third quarter, looking for another. And Wheatfelds has it.
Wheatfeldt moving up here. We'll see if he can get something going. I'm sure Buzzio mentioned just how poorly they played in that third quarter and how they need to step up right now and get back into it, get back into the flow of the offense, and stop making those stupid or lazy errors, those missed ground balls or those errant passes. You just can't have that happen, and they saw it affect them negatively in this game in the third quarter where they allowed 4 goals unanswered.
Gettner takes a shot. That one just skipping out of play. And Blankenship closest to it. Ball going to the Warriors. Restart for Wilton. A great job by the senior goaltender to turn away the Rams and get the possession with the Warriors. As now here is Andre Wiest. Wiest loses it, regroups it. He's got to get it across the 50, however. Liam Pearsall, he'll take over that role. And talk about that as a storyline. Liam Pearsall, son of fourth-year head coach for the Warriors, Steve Pearsall. What a way to play your senior year for your dad, and now standing just 10 minutes away from an FCIAC championship. In your senior year, that is. Ground ball fielded. 2 programs that were started under the legendary Guy Whitten, Howard Benedict. 2 of the greatest to ever coach in Fairfield County for New Canaan and Wilton boys lacrosse respectively. 2 of the most storied programs in the Nutmeg State. And here they are for the 16th time in the FCIAC title match. Caleb Rath over to McKiernan. Right back to Rath. Now Wall. Thought about the wing shot, instead takes it up the lane. Treats it back.
Yeah, and Braden, you mentioned Guy Whitten. Actually, my father and both my uncles played for Guy Whitten on this Wilton team. I've heard quite a lot of stories about him. But one thing that surprises me out here and that I'm impressed with on this Wilton side is despite having a relatively new coach, their discipline and their ability, and it looks like they're just experienced out here, especially on the offensive side. You know, they've done a great job of holding on to possessions and making sure that they're taking smart shots. Costly turnover there, but I think throughout this game we've seen the experience of these New Canaan players and of this coaching staff, which I've been very impressed with.
A Wilton team that has only seen 4 head coaches in their program history, now with 4th-year head coach Steve Pearsall. He comes with a lacrosse background, played at Notre Dame, the Long Island native, and he spent 10 years as a Wilton high school assistant under the great John Wiseman, now getting his chance. And he's looking to lead this Warriors team to their first ever FCIAC championship. He was the 2022 Coach of the Year in the FCIAC, so Steve Pearsall is doing something right. As Griffin Gettner regroups at 9 minutes to play. New Canaan needs a goal, and they need it fast, trailing by 4 in the 4th quarter.
Yeah, and you could definitely tell after that hit on Laddick, game is getting more and more physical, and New Canaan is getting more and more angry, and Wilton's defense able to make a stand there. New Canaan able to get the rebound, but you just see that.
Wide open stop by Blankenship. Evan Blankenship having a game to remember, and the senior has another save.
Yes, and Blankenship has stepped up for this Warriors team so far. You just see he's made so many key timely saves, and it's kept the Warriors in this game. The key timely saves, he's been able to stop the ball, get the rebound, and then move it up. And the Warriors able to get offensive possessions off that ability of Blankenship to stop the ball.
Busby over to number 24, Teddy Rosen. This is a possession that will differentiate this game right here. About 8 minutes to go. The Rams trailing by 4. They need a goal. They have not scored since the quarter break. Grady Tomasco brings it across the 50. Passes over to Laddick. And a timeout taken by head coach Chip Buzzio. And the New Canaan Rams, and now New Canaan will huddle up here. As I mentioned, a crucial possession in this game. And John, what do you think the point of emphasis is for head coach Chip Buzzio?
Well, it's go time now. 8 minutes left. We need to get a goal. We're down by 4, and that is the key. We need a goal here. I called the timeout. He's probably saying, I called the timeout because we need a goal here. We need to settle it down. We need to take care of this possession but we can't take too long. It can't be a lengthy possession. We need to get in and out. We need to take the ball. We need to go. We need to get in front of Blankenship. We need to put it in, and then we need to win the faceoff with Totaro and Wheatfeld, which is extremely possible, but they need a goal here. It's telling the boys, play smart, and stop making those errors, those errant passes and the ground balls. You need those possessions right now, and you can't make those costly errors.
8 minutes and 5 seconds left. The Warriors faithful on their feet, cheering on Wilton High School as the Warriors stand just 8 minutes away from their 14th all-time FCIAC title, the first in the 21st century if they could win it. But again, 8 minutes is a century in high school lacrosse. As the Rams will restart it, Doster Kroll will command in the offense. He will restart it. We haven't seen Doster much of today. Kept off the stat sheet as he entered play with his 41 goals. But when you have a goaltender like Evan Blankenship in net, who has made save after save, he's kept this entire New Canaan offense out of this game. Kroll. Over to Connolly. Finds a cutter in Laddick. Shoots that one, stopped by Blankenship. Rebound goes to Salmini and the Rams. Fighting for it is Matt Salmini. Instead, Andre Weiss comes away with it. Now McKiernan. Tommy McKiernan across the 30 in the box. McKiernan takes the shot and he scores! Tommy McKiernan, the senior, only his third on the season, but the Warriors go up by 5.
You saw there, Buzzio, really not happy as McKiernan able to get that goal. You saw the great save by Blankenship. We talked about this, the great save, the save on Laddick. Then Weiss able to get the ball and move it up to McKiernan, and McKiernan able to take it all the way with his long stick and able to finish. Just such a great goal by McKiernan. You saw Busby not able to get a stick on it. That's a big goal. Puts Wilton up by 5, 8-3 with 7:37 remaining.
The third-year varsity player, Tommy McKiernan. Goal number 3 on the season, but a big time to score one as John Totaro wins the faceoff. Totaro takes it to the house and stopped by the defender and Andre Weiss. As the Rams will regroup, now trailing by 5. The long stick takes the shot, and that is in. The snipe from Will Hayes, getting another, his second on the season, and his second in the game. Makes it 8-4.
And that is Hayes' second on the game, as you just mentioned, and maybe that'll give the Rams a burst of energy. Able to go 1-for-1 there as they gave up the goal, but Will Hayes able to quickly get it back. And if you're Buzzio, that's what you need. If you're the Rams, if you're a Rams fan, that's what you need. You need quick goals. You need face-offs won. Totaro able to win that face-off there. And we'll see what happens next in this very tight game still.
You can see the little celebration from Hayes. He knows that that is just a small step in what needs to happen. Totaro looking to win another face-off. It's actually Wheatfeld out there. And Cam Wheatfeld wins the face-off, although he still has it. Wheatfeld's met with the defensive likes of Nate Rath and turned away. And again, the long pulls for the Warriors coming up clutch. Andre Weiss and Nate Rath doing their job. And the Warriors set up on the offense, 7 minutes to go. 3 long pull goals of our 12. It's an oddity to see 1, yet alone 3.
Yeah, I mean, all the long pulls on this team, we've talked about how good these defenses are, but their transition elements, I mean, when you have a long pull, the amount of torque you're able to get on your shot, a long pull shot is terrifying for a goalie. I know that for a fact, especially when it's far out. They can get the hardest shot on the entire team, and these long pulls know what they're doing with the ball, and they're not afraid to sling it.
Charlie Rath over to Charlie Johnson. 2 of the 4 senior captains on this Warrior team. Looking to do something that has not been done in 24 years, and that is win an FCIAC championship. Michael Wall with the possession. 6 minutes to go.
New Canaan needs a stop here. I'd assume that Wilton's going to try to run some time off the clock as they take the shot. Saved by Busby. But they're going to maintain this possession. They're going to not milk the clock, but they're going to be very protective of the ball because you can do a lot with the ball in your stick.
Restart for the Warriors. As we mentioned, these teams have now met in the last 4 FCIAC tournaments. The last 2 years in the FCIAC quarters, the year before that in 2019 in the FCIAC championship, as Busby makes the stop. Holden Busby looking to spark his offense. But the last 2 meetings have been taken by the Warriors, so since the post-COVID era, Wilton has knocked the Rams out of the tournament the last 2 years, looking to make it a 3rd straight. Well, the only difference is the Rams got out of the quarterfinals this year for the first time since they won the FCIAC championship since 2019. Leiden has it. Bryce Leiden pass over to Colin Finnegan. The Rams were kept at bay for a good 16 minutes or so before they got their goal from Will Hayes. Pass wide of Gettner, skipping out of play, possession to the Warriors.
You see, that's what's been happening all day for the Rams. Those passes coming at the worst times, those errant passes, stopping offensive possession completely. Wilton taking possession, but you can't have that against these good FCIAC teams. You can't expect to win a game if that keeps happening.
Big hit there, grabbed by Hayden Roeder. Roeder had a goal in the FCIAC semi, throws that one to the other goalkeeper, Evan Blankenship. Weist gets it across into the attacking zone. And timeout will be taken by head coach Steve Pearsall and the Wilton Warriors. And a big stop by Andre Weist. 4 minutes and 4 seconds to go. Wilton controls an 8-4 lead. We'll be back on the DAF Media Network. Don't go anywhere. You're seeing the huddle of 10th year head coach Chip Buzzio and the New Canaan Rams, trailing by 4 in the 2023 FCIAC Boys Lacrosse Championship. One of these teams will be hoisting the FCIAC Champions plaque, and Wilton stands just 4 minutes away from it being the Warriors. And New Canaan will trot out looking to stop this Warrior team that has possession to start with Wilson Tansil. After the timeout taken by Steve Pearsall, both teams have used one of their 2 timeouts, so they both have 1 left.
Yeah, and it looks like Wilton's coming out here in what a lot of people like to call the umbrella set. So what that means is they're either going to push from the attack like they are now, or they're going to look for picks up top, look for possibly some step-down shots or some dodges from the middies. Let's see what they do here.
Tansil at the 30. Groff playing the defense, instead trades it over to the long pole of Hayes. 2 goals for Will Hayes tonight. .3:30 to go. Wilson Tansil in the end zone with it. No shot clock, so Wilton hypothetically could run this clock out if they wanted to. Although Busby has come out of his cage a little bit, he'll play the extra defender. Looking to get a stop. The goal is wide open. And that ball is going to the Rams, so they get the good end of that whistle, and now the offense will need to go to work. 3 minutes to play. Trailing by 4. Can the Rams do the impossible and come back in this game? Bryce Leiden across the 50.
This is where desperation kicks in if you're a Rams fan or a Rams player. You need a goal here. Here's Bryce Leiden.
Leiden off to the wing, the shot. Groff stopped by Blankenship. And Evan Blankenship, that's been the story of this game. The senior goaltender cannot be beat. In transition, McKiernan Over to Johnson. And that was the best look New Canaan saw all game. Ty Groff, the one-on-one with Blankenship. And Evan Blankenship put the big spoon up there, stopped Groff in his tracks. And now Wilton stands just 2:20 away. The flag has been waved. So we'll see our first man-up situation in a couple seconds. Referees have let him play on. We haven't seen a man up yet.
Yeah, you're completely right there, Braden. There's been so much physicality in this game so far. We've seen some big hits, mostly clean stuff, though. Nothing too high, nothing that these refs are going to be forced to call. And like you said, the refs been letting them play on, been encouraging this physicality between these two big teams.
Tansel in the end zone. Defense being played by Bryce Lyden. Tansel running his routes in the end zone. Wilson Tansel still has it. Eventually our whistle will come in. And a penalty against Gray Tomasco, so the long pole will take a knee in the box, and Wilton will go man up, 1:41 to go.
Yeah, and if you're New Canaan here, there's nothing really that you can do. Wilton with the man up advantage, up by 4 with 1:42 remaining. Definitely a tough second half for this Rams team. Weren't able to get any offense going due to some miscues, some errant passes, and just great defense, and especially great goaltending by Blankenship. Blankenship has had a game of his life, a game to remember, and he will be hailed the hero. He has been so good today, making key timely saves, and New Canaan not able to figured out how to get the ball past Blankenship today so far.
Whistle going against Sylvester. Ball going to the Rams, and New Canaan will now need to play player down offense. Groff to Busby. Right back to Ty Groff. Wilton on the man up, and timeout taken by head coach Chip Buzzio, and he's going to talk things over with his team, especially playing player down. You need 4 goals in the next 90 seconds if you want any shot of coming back in this game. So a goal is almost a must on this possession for the Rams.
Yeah, and that's a tough call here. Of course, Wilton, with no incentive to double the ball, I'm expecting what they're going to do is they're going to have an extra, what we call a free slide, stand in the middle. So as soon as any New Canaan player, shakes his guy, gets his hands free, look for an early slide here by Wilton because they have a free slide. They have one guy out there who's really not covering anyone. So a really tough call here, but New Canaan has the potential to get some points on the board with their good offense here.
90 seconds to play. Timeout for Chip Buzzio and the New Canaan Rams. Again, what's at stake? In 90 seconds, we will be crowning the 2023 FCIAC Boys Lacrosse County Champion. The Warriors control a 4-goal lead after a dominant third quarter in which they kept the Rams off the scoreboard, in big part to the senior goaltender Evan Blankenship, which, if I had to nominate someone, that's my FCIAC Championship MVP right there. Evan Blankenship, double digits on saves, turning down this Rams team. And now New Canaan will really need to do the impossible. 90 seconds, player down, and try to get a goal.
Yeah, you mentioned that. I'd see it as maybe something hard to see that Blankenship does not win the award, because he's just been so good today. Rath added a couple goals, scoring from the Wilton offense, but the main player has been Blankenship, able to not let anything by him and just played a superb game. Almost maybe better than we expected, but we knew that the goaltenders were going to be big heading into this game.
The first-year goaltender, that was the position that Wilton, I think, was probably most scared of, losing Colin Glenskold, because you lose guys like Masterson and a couple other attackers, Jake Somer on the defense, but you have guys to replace them, Wiest, the Raths. The goaltender was the one position you weren't sure on because Glenskold started every single game for the Warriors last year, as that is intercepted by Tommy McKiernan. And the Warriors are now really looking pretty. But as I was saying, Blankenship, the senior, his first year starting for this Warriors team. He's had an okay season, but he has yet to have a game like this today where he excelled, laid his foot down, shut out the other team, and that is what Evan Blankenship did. And now he will watch the seconds tick away as Wilton just stands 45 seconds away from the FCIAC crowd. The crowd gets on their feet. They start cheering. The student section gets ready to storm the fields. Intercepted. 30 to go.
You see the New Canaan student section leaving here, most New Canaan fans leaving, but the Wilton section still packed full of fans everywhere.
And the Warriors can feel it, just 20 seconds away. The pass, stopped by Blankenship. And Evan Blankenship makes another stop. Referee stops play at 12.9, and the ball stays with the Warriors. Or sorry, stays with the Rams, rather.
And time again, Blankenship has come up just out of nowhere and able to make the one-on-one saves. And he has been electric for this Warrior team, this Warrior defense.
And now you see the final timeout from head coach Steve Pearsall hugging his assistant coaches. What a save by Evan Blankenship. 8-4 our score. And I think that's what he's telling his guys. Don't get ahead of yourself. You still got 12 seconds to go. Don't do anything stupid. Go out there, play this last 12 seconds. That's all they got to do. Close out Wilton, or close out New Canaan, and just watch that time tick down. And this will be a special moment for Wilton High School, the Wilton boys lacrosse team, and the entire town of Wilton, Connecticut.
Yeah, as you mentioned there, Braden, Wilton without an FCIAC championship since the last century. That's back when my parents were in high school, which was quite a while ago. No offense to them. So Wilton, definitely a super special moment. With only 12 seconds left on the clock, up by 4, and looking to end this one, like you said, not trying to do anything stupid, but definitely got themselves a big lead here with very little time left.
24 years of waiting, 24 different classes passing through Wilton High School, all just waiting for that next FCIAC championship. The very first program in Fairfield County when it comes to high school varsity boys lacrosse, been around since the 60s. And here they stand 10 seconds away from a 14th all-time FCIAC title. Shot going out of play, and the ball going to the Warriors, and that will just about seal it. Schwartz in the end zone. He throws this one in the air. Wilton starts the celebration. Wilton will be partying like it's 1999 because for the first time in 24 years, the Warriors are champions of the FCIAC. What a season, and what a way to end it for the boys in blue and whites.
And you see everyone mobbing Blankenship, New Canaan, going back to their respective team and huddling up. We see the celebration begin for this Warriors team, and you can tell they worked extremely hard to get to this point. Obviously coming in, not knowing what was going to happen, but then playing a pretty solid season and then able to cap it off with a win against a very good Darien team and then a really good New Canaan team as well. As you mentioned, every team in the FCIAC is so good, but this year, Wilton has been crowned the 2023 champions.
Wilton had arguably the hardest road to get to this point. The 5th-seeded Richfield in the quarterfinals. They survived Richfield 9-6 thanks to a second-half comeback. The #1 Darien, they took down 11-10 in the semis thanks to a second-half comeback. And now the #3 New Canaan, they take down thanks to a perfect third quarter in which they kept the Rams off the scoreboard, took advantage, scoring 4 unanswered en route to an 8-4 victory for the Wilton Warriors. Their 14th all-time FCIAC title, the first under head coach Steve Pearsall, and this Warrior team prevailed today.
Yeah, I mean, watching this Warrior team, I was so impressed with their style of play. Like I mentioned before, I was watching their offense. I was trying to figure out what kind of sets they were running, what they were doing. And the answer is that they were transferring between sets. They would have guys go on the crease, pop off, look for shots. They'd have guys like Rath try and get picks on their defensemen, try and get their hands free for outside shots. They try and pass the ball inside, get doorstop shots on Busby. And it was very highly coached, and it was very functional. It was very impressive to watch up here from the press box.
As I've said all night, an FCIAC tournament that was anybody's tournament. The top 4 seeds, Darien at 7-1 in the conference. New Canaan, Wilton, and Staples, all 6-2 in the conference. Any one of those 4 teams were very well capable of winning this championship, and the 4th-seeded Wilton Warriors have done just that. Took down the 5th seed, took down the 1st seed, and took down the 3rd seed en route to the 2023 FCIAC Boys Lacrosse Crown. What a win for the Wilton High School Warriors, and the town of Wilton will be going nuts tonight.
Yeah, you mentioned the way Wilton got here was by playing their game and by playing relaxed, composed, and just ready for anything, able to shut down the other team and capitalize off the turnovers that they forced. And Evan Blankenship, remember that name, although he is a senior this year, he had one season to remember and a game of his life tonight down here at Norwalk at Testa Field. You saw Blankenship just display everything from the one-on-ones to the long-range shot stops. You saw everything in such a great performance by Blankenship and this Warriors team.
What a win for Wilton High School. The Warriors, for the 14th time in program history, are the FCIAC County champions, as the teams will now line up on their respective 40-yard lines for our medal ceremony and our trophy presentation of the 2023 FCIAC Boys Lacrosse champion, the Wilton High School Warriors. A team that returned so much talent from a year ago. Dave Sylvester, Charlie Johnson, Spencer Liston, the three Raths, Michael Wall, Andre Wiest, and the first-year goalkeeper, Evan Blankenship, stepping up big time to shut out this Rams team en route to the 8-4 victory. And now we will send you down to the field with the presentation of the trophies and the medals of the 2023 FCIAC Boys Lacrosse champions, the Wilton Warriors.
Champion, Darien High School. And the regular season East Division champion, St. Joseph High School. We would like to present now the runners-up trophy to the New Canaan Rams and head coach Chip. Congratulations, Chip. And now, the championship trophy to our 2023 FCIAC champions, the Wilton Warriors. Presenting our MVP trophy is former FCIAC Director John Kutzko. Your 2023 MVP from Wilton High School, Evan.
You heard the cheers. The MVP, Evan Blankenship, after his masterful performance, propelling this Warriors team to the 2023 FCIAC champion trophy. The first under head coach Steve Pearsall. He got the giant hug from his fourth-year head coach, and a magical night for Wilton. I'm going to start with you, Ryan. Final takeaways from the night.
Well, I mean, I think the one that won it today for Wilton was their defense. I'm going to be honest, they have a ton of firepower on offense, but their defense, their ability to shut down New Canaan's threats, the ability of Evan Blankenship to make those big saves at those big moments, their defense was firing on all cylinders today. And their offense did great too, but I saw a lot of transition goals, a lot of transition opportunities from those long poles, their ability to move it up the field, to get down there. And, we talked a lot about the physicality between both these teams. And I think Wilton's defense and New Canaan's defense had a very great showing today, but I think Wilton's defense got it done, holding New Canaan to only 4 goals in this one.
There's no question about that. Blankenship made the saves, but the long poles made the difference in this game. Andre Wiest, Nate Rath, and Connor Flanagan, they were able to stop the Rams. They were able to transition the ball. They even scored a goal with Connor Flanagan. The long poles, Blankenship and net, the defense as a whole for the Warriors won this game. For Wilton, when you hold the opposition to 4 goals, it's pretty tough not to win. John, your final takeaways on the championship.
Well, just great game by 2 very good teams. You just saw New Canaan disappear during the third quarter. And in the second half, they didn't play as consistent as they did in the first half. And turnovers really affected them. And Wilton was able to convert. And then the emergence of Evan Blankenship. We thought he was going to be really good, but he was he was spectacular. He was unreal, and that's why he won the MVP. But just having that goalie behind you as a team, just that security. You saw Busby played an unreal game as well. Just tough night for Busby in net, but he played amazing. And you just see that the better team always wins, and Wilton stayed consistent. They brought the fundamentals. The fundamentals win you games, and the ability to just play your game and play with consistency. I know that I keep repeating the word consistency, but they played all 48 minutes the same, whereas New Canaan disappeared for some stretches, and that was the difference in the game.
For the first time since 1999, the Wilton High School Warriors are champions of the FCIAC in the sport of boys lacrosse. However, this is where things now become interesting. For the first time ever, both Wilton and New Canaan are in the same CIAC class, Class L, and they have a chance to meet in a quarterfinal matchup, guys. That is insane that these teams potentially will get a rematch with each other in a couple short days at Dunning Field, because New Canaan is the 4 seed, and Wilton is, I had it here somewhere. Would that make Wilton the, probably should have come prepared with this. There we go. Wilton the 4 seed, New Canaan the 4 seed, Wilton the 5 seed, so they would meet in a quarterfinal on June 3rd, 3 p.m. at Dunning Field if they both win their first round matchup. And John, what's going to be the mentality for New Canaan heading into that potential quarterfinal game?
Well, scrap this game, learn from it, and forget it. Forget this game. This is the FCIAC championship. It's a big championship, but now you can win states. If you can get past Wilton, you can continue climbing, and you just have to have a quick moment to reflect on this game and then come back stronger and get your revenge against this very good Wilton team.
So until June 3rd, the Wilton Warriors will be riding high. They enter the state tournament as the 5 seed, New Canaan as the 4 seed. I'm going to give a couple shout-outs here and a couple thank yous before we sign off here on the DAF Media Network. First off, I want to thank the Norwalk High School Athletic Director, Mr. Doug Marchetti, and his entire staff at Norwalk High for their hospitality over the last 2 days, Tuesday and Thursday, for providing a great venue for the 2023 FCIAC Boys Lacrosse Tournament. I know they usually hold it at Jack Casagrande Field, but I've got to say the move to Norwalk's Testa Field, a pretty good one, a great venue at that. I also want to thank the FCIAC Commissioner, Mr. Dave Scholes, for allowing us to stream these games on Tuesday and Thursday. And finally, I want to thank our fantastic DAF Media production crew for bringing you all the sights and sounds on Tuesday and today in the FCIAC tournament. Adam Nelson, Cooper Puff, Charlie Imbrogno, Henry Imbrogno, Andrew Mastalone, Cam McGraw, and our DAF Media advisor, Damian Andrew. I want to thank John Frieders and Ryan Dahlquist for coming on the call with me and calling this great championship between the Wilton Warriors and the New Canaan Rams. Wilton, your champions for 2023. So for our entire production crew, our advisor, Damian Andrew, John Frieders, Ryan Dahlquist joined alongside me saying good night from Norwalk High School's Testa Field. Once again, your Wilton Warriors are the 2023 FCIAC Boys Lacrosse champions over the New Canaan Rams. I've been Braden Shank, and this has been a production of the DAF Media Network, a joint venture of the Darien Athletic Foundation and the Darien Foundation. Have a great night, everybody.